What's the best and fastest way by far to get rid of debt? And also, what are simple steps to understand, well, Tommy, I have this much money, but how much of it do I actually put towards my debt? How much do I save? How much do I invest? Well, in this video, I'm going to answer all those questions, and I'm going to give you guys 5 steps that I follow to get rid of debt as fast as possible every time I get paid. By the way, I got rid of $3,000 in debt when I was 19 in less than 6 months. And now I owe a ton of money on credit card debt, like I think over like $13,000, and I pay like less than 0% on interest. Well, not less, I pay exactly 0% on interest. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that also, but the main point is, how do I get rid of debt and how much money do I actually put towards it? Now, if you guys don't know me, my name is Tommy Bryson. I'm an accountant. I post it on YouTube every single day. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notified. On top of that, hit the like button, really appreciate it. And here's a question for you guys, okay? Be honest when you answer this, okay? It's the only way I can help you. Comment down below and let me know, what type of debt do you have? Is it credit card debt? Is it car loan debt? Is it mortgage? What is it? Comment down below. And here's the question. Why do you have that debt? Don't justify it. Take responsibility. Comment down below and let me know, why do you have that debt? Okay, so it's a credit card debt, $3,000. Why do you have it? Because when I was 19 and I owed $3,000 in credit card debt, I said, you know what? I need it for this, for that, but in reality, that was just an excuse that I told myself every day to justify it and make me feel better about myself. But in reality, there was no need for me to get into such massive amounts of debt just to buy a laptop when I was 19, okay? So there you go. Comment down below, let me know. And before I tell you guys the 5 steps I follow every time I get paid to actually get rid of debt, I want to clarify one thing here, guys, okay? There's good debt and there's bad debt. So for example, if you buy a car that only takes money from your pocket, then that's bad debt. Now, if you use credit cards to actually buy, for example, a vending machine that puts money in your pocket every single month, well, in reality, that's good debt because it puts money in your pocket every single month. So now we understand that, good debt, bad debt, and why you have that debt and what type it is. Now let's get into the 5 steps I follow every time I get paid to get rid of debt as fast as possible, but also be able to invest, save, and do everything I need to do. Now, step number 1 is this, guys. The first thing you want to do is this. You want to make a list, a piece of paper, whatever you have, and you want to write down exactly what you owe and to who you owe it and how much you owe, okay? Write that down on a piece of paper. For example, I owe Discover, I owe Chase, I owe my bank, I owe my car loan, except your mortgage. That's different, okay? But if you have student loans also, put that in there. Also, put down all your debts in no specific order just yet. Now, number 2 is this. Well, now that I know what I owe and what amount and who I owe, well, now it's time to, categorize it or put it in the order of, the highest interest rate to the lowest interest rate. So for example, if you have 3 credit cards and one is 20% on interest rate APR and one is 15%, well, you want to put the highest at the top and the lowest at the lowest part, okay? The last one. Now, Tommy, how do I find out my APR? Well, 2 ways. You call in the credit card and you ask, or you check online and you see your entire APR on your credit card. Very easy. Now, if you're not sure, just call in and ask and say like, hey, just checking in, what's my APR on this card? They'll tell you like 20%, 30%, 35%, whatever it is, you write it down, and remember, order it from highest to lowest. Now, number 3 is this. Well, now that you know exactly who you owe, how much you owe, and the interest rate in order from highest to lowest, well, now you want to understand how much money you make versus how much money you spend on expenses. Now, the trick is this, guys. You want to calculate your income. If you have one income stream, that's fine. Don't worry about it. If you have one income stream, don't worry about it, okay? Now, number 2 is this. You want to also make a list of all your expenses. All of them. I'm talking rent, water, electricity, internet, Hulu, Netflix, your gas bill. I'm talking everything you actually spend money on every single month. You want to write down that list. Now, if you don't know what it is, well, go on your bank statement, look through all the statements right there, all the credits, food, going out to the movies, everything. You want to write it down, and you also want to write down the amount you actually spent on that entire thing, okay? Now, once you have the information, you want to add it all up. It gives you a sum at the bottom. You want to add it all up. So, for example, if you spend like $1,000 in expenses and you make $1,200 every single month, well, guess what? You're in the positive. You're positive $200, okay? Great. That means you put $200 towards your entire like debt. But if you want a negative, well, we have a problem because you're spending more money than you actually make. Now, here's what I want you to do with this information. I want you to circle in, okay? Circle in all the needs and X out all the wants. Now, here's a need. A need is something that you need to survive, nothing else. No excuses here, okay? If you don't need it to survive, then get rid of it. I'm talking food, shelter, and a little bit of entertainment. Entertainment is the internet, okay? So we have, we have rent, transportation, light bill, internet bill, water bill, food bill, but after that, everything else is off limits, okay? I want you to cancel Hulu. I want you to cancel Spotify, Netflix. I want you to cancel all this stuff that you can't afford right now and exit out. Now that you have that information, I want you to add those up, okay? Subtract it from your income, and now you have a bigger balance than you actually can afford to actually pay towards debt, okay? And that's what I'm talking about. Now, that's called your disposable income. Your income minus your real need expenses, okay? Once you have that number, here's what we're gonna do, guys. Step number 4, guys. You wanna grab that list of debt that you actually have to pay, and you wanna start putting in all that disposable income towards paying off, guess which one? The one with the highest APR. Tommy, but the other one is only $200. If I pay that one off faster, then I'm done with it. Well, the answer is this. No, okay? Math shows that if you pay off the highest APR first, no matter if it's like the lowest or the highest balance, you will end up saving more money over the long term. Because again, the APR is one of the most important factors when it comes to credit, okay? So once you're grabbing that disposable income, you put it towards focusing, paying off that entire debt of the highest APR. Tommy, but what about my other credit cards or my other debts? Do I stop paying for it? The answer is no. You pay the minimum on all of them, but you add all the extra money towards that one APR with the highest one. Once you're done with that, here's the next step. You cross it off and you go down to the next one. Now you put in all that money again. Don't get Netflix now. Don't get Hulu yet. Don't get any other stuff. Put in all the money towards the second highest one. And you keep going, you keep going, you keep going, and eventually you will be debt free, and that's how you win at the game. That's how I did it when I owed a bunch of money back in the days, and that's how I still do it today without paying any interest. Tommy, how do you do that? Well, I'm going to tell you later on in the video, stick around. But guys, my last thing is this, okay? You're probably wondering, okay, Tommy, what if I have things in collections or I just don't make enough money? Well, I'm going to be honest with you, be very frank, it's not going to be pretty, but here's the thing. If you have things in collection, well, you have 3 options here. You let it run for 7 years, it drops. You negotiate with them, and you also get them to sign a letter saying like, hey, you paid it off, so you remove it from your credit, which is great. Or number 3, you dispute it, and you try to get away with it, but usually that doesn't work. So for example, if I owe medical bills, or I owe eBay some money, and they put it in collections or whatever, and now you're saying like, hey, you either pay this off, or we'll add it to your credit score. You say like, hey, you know what? I know some people say like, hey, don't tell him nothing, don't do this, don't do that, just leave it alone, blah, blah, blah. But here's my advice, here's what I personally do, because I only give advice to what I personally do. Here's what I do. I always say this. By the way, I happened to me once, and it was literally today. Like, eBay called me saying like, hey, your account is overdue. And I was like, hey, what are you talking about? Like, I haven't used eBay in a long time. They said like, oh, Tommy, I'm sorry about that. We're going to credit everything back. And I thought about this for this video, and that's how I got it. But again, I don't have anything in collections. But the main idea is this, guys. If you have things in collection, you want to call them, but whenever they call you, because they will call you, say like, hey, I want to negotiate this balance, and if I do pay it off, will you guys remove it from my credit score? And give me a letter saying that I paid off in full so I can remove it from my credit score. If they say yes, yes. If they say no, then what's the sense of paying it off, okay? That's the entire problem here. Now, number 2 is this. You can ignore it for 7 years. If you ignore it for 7 years, it drops off your credit score, and you're in the clean, but for 7 years, your credit score is going to be ruined, and I don't really think that's a good deal whatsoever. So you want to pay it off if they're going to sign you a letter saying like, hey, you're done paying it off and you can remove it from your credit score, okay? That's what I recommend. Now, if you want to be slick, you want to be smart, and you want to say like, hey, this was never me, I don't remember this, blah, 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 you want to dispute it, you might get away with it. I've heard stories, but you might not, and it might not work out, okay? My entire thing is I negotiate down the balance. For example, if I owe $1,000, it's like, hey, how about we do $500 or $200? I'm having hard times right now. And they might tell you, yes, no problem. Because again, guys, collection companies, they buy your debt from the companies for a very low price. For example, if you owe $1,000, collection might buy it for like $20 or like $10 or like $100 and then charge you the full amount and make all that profit. That's how it works, okay? It's a whole business here. But if you negotiate with them, you might be able to get away with a better price than you originally thought, okay? So now that we understand exactly how collections work, I want to break down one thing here, okay? Because sometimes you're in a rough spot and you just can't afford to pay anything because, and honestly, I know some people out there that, you know, they make $1,000 every month, but in reality, they have to pay over $1,500 every month towards your bills. Well, how do I get out of this problem, Tommy? It's a big problem. Well, the answer is this. This happens to people that make $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $1,500. It doesn't matter, okay? It all depends on how much you pay towards how much you make. In honesty, okay? So this means that if you can't afford to do this, the answer is going to be very hard to do, but very worth it. So for example, if you ride around in a fancy car, sell it or return it, and buy yourself a $800 car or $1,000 car, a Honda, whatever it is, and just ride around in that until you can actually afford to get a better car. Now on top of that, if you're paying for a fancy rent in a nice apartment in Manhattan or wherever you live, and you can't afford that rent, well, move to somewhere else that's cheaper. For example, where we live right now, we pay $1,300 every single month, but imagine if we live somewhere else, like in New York City, for the same amount of space right here in Manhattan, it would be like $4,000, $10,000 every single month, okay? So that's what you need to do. Move somewhere else and then lower your expenses like that also. Now, if you have any bills that you absolutely need, like Netflix or Spotify, get rid of everything. What I'm saying is just go skin and bone. Whatever you need, you need. Whatever you don't need, you just take out. Whatever you can lower, you lower. Whatever you can't lower, you just keep, okay? So that's my advice there. You want to lower everything to have a surplus, and then that way you can actually pay back your debts as fast as possible. A surplus is when you have more money coming in than you have going out. That's the answer. That's the answer. That's the answer, and that's the only way to actually do it, okay? Now, before we go, I want to give you guys some tips. That way you can be better, you know, like armed to do everything you need to do, okay? Number one is this. You want to set all your payments in auto. So auto payment for everything. You want to get the money out every single month automatically, no problem. That way you don't have to think about it. Number two is you want to stop using your credit cards, but you don't want to cancel them. Don't cancel them. Pay them off. You'll be good. Your credit score will go up, but you don't want to cancel them because then your credit score will be ruined. So you don't want to do that, okay? Number three is this. If you want to do exactly what I do, which basically I have a budget that lets me invest, save, emergencies, you know, fund, whatever I want to do. If you want to know how to do that, I have a link down below for my budget, my personal budget. You can actually use it yourself. By the way, I'm not selling you a course. I'm not going to tell you download my PDF, give me your email. No, it's on YouTube right now for free. Link down below. Go check it out. And if you have any questions, just DM me on Instagram at Tommy Bryce and I answer all my DMs, okay? Now, guys, as always, I want you guys to make a commitment down below and comment down below how much you owe and by what time period do you want to pay it off in full. And what bills are you going to get rid of just to do this as fast as possible without having to worry about, hey, you know, I have Hulu or Netflix and all this stuff. Comment down below, let me know. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notified. On top of that, if you want to talk one-on-one, uno, just DM me on Instagram at Tommy Bryson. And if you want to watch the video on the budgets, click this video right here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel right now, click my face right here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and peace.